Hello, Smars here. So, this is another video in the How to Make a Basic Comic in Flash series. This video is about preloaders and how to make a preloader and really how to use one properly. I couldn't exactly tell you how they 100% function because preloaders are not. It's not something we covered intensely in class. So I'm just going to kind of jump right into this. With the original version of Goblin, the original issue 1 that I created was a little bit different than how I do the comics now. With this, in here you don't see the preloader in here in the actual comic. Where the preloader is because of the way the Flash is done. You can have multiple scenes. So I could have this is 77 frames here, not necessarily 77 pictures, but it's counting 77 of these frames. And then at the end of this, it could go to another scene with another 77 if I wanted it to. So what I used to do is in a different scene, I had the preloader. And this is an older preloader, so it's a little bit different, but essentially the preloader was created from a lot of different elements. In this one, I have animation going on. So there's actually all of this going on inside of this. Now, I don't expect you to do this at all. I'm just showing you kind of what I did. In here, there's this stupid animation that's going. So yeah, it just kind of, it's unnecessary, really. But what I did though is, in order to get a good preloader, I actually went to Newgrounds, and I don't know if you've ever been to Newgrounds or if many people still go to Newgrounds in this day and age. Maybe they do with the Behemoth and everything, you know, making games and stuff. But so I got a preloader, a basic preloader from Newgrounds, and I'll leave a place. I'll actually make it a link so that you can go and get the folder that this is in. And it even has instructions on how to do the how to actually make the preloader and everything. But it's a basic preloader, and it has two functions. You know, the loading screen and then the execution that will take you to the first page. And basically, let me show you what's going on here. So it has all this code is going on, and basically it's running an animation where this bar slowly fills up. It'll be blank, and then it slowly fills up with white. And it's really just an animation that is, let me see if I can show you. Can I get in there and show you the animation? Maybe not. No, I probably can't. But really, it's just scrolling across and filling. And it's not actually filling, it just looks like it's filling. It's a mask layer that's slowly uncovering and making it look like the bar is filling up as it's calculating, and it's checking each page, making sure everything is correct on each page, and each page is loaded properly and will play once you hit the button. And then when it's checked, when it's gone through the entirety of the script and it's checked everything, here it's run through everything. It goes to the last function, and it'll go over to play, and it'll go to this button basically, and it just goes right over to this button. It goes to this button and stops, and this button here becomes active, and you can click that and it'll take you to the first page in your comic, and that's what happens. So let's see if I have, do I have an active version of it? I think this is this it? Let's see. Is this an active one? Test comic with preloader. Is Is that just the test comic? Okay, here's a test comic with the okay, here it is. This is the test comic with the preloader. Reduce, oops. Let me actually reduce the size. Okay. So in here, I have, it's all on, a white background, but I'll change it in a little bit. So I have the preloader. This is this is what I was saying. There are multiple options in Flash. There are multiple ways to do certain things. What I showed you earlier with Goblin was that the preloader is in a different scene altogether. There's multiple scenes. There's 2 scenes. There's the main comic in its own scene here, and then there is a different scene with the preloader. And what happens is, because of the order I put it in, where even though it says scene 2 and scene 1, scene 2 has the preloader, I put it before scene 1, it'll load first. But we're not going to really get into that, Instead, we're just going to go basic, and we're going to put the preloader in the same scene that the comic is in. So the preloader is going to be here on the first frame, and then the rest of your comic will exist here. And all the stuff that we did in the previous step is the stuff that you're going to do for all the other frames. All the stop signs, all the stop layers, all the button layers, the layers with your actual page work on it, and everything. And the only difference is, in this one we have a button at the end. I believe it's this one. It should be this one. At the end we have a button here that will take us back. And let me show you the script. And it just, on release, go to and play 1, which will take us all the way back to the preloader, which is on frame 1. So in here I have, it's a basic preloader. In fact, what I will do to minimize confusion, I'll actually delete that, and I'm going to create a new layer, and I'll put in this basic preloader from Newgrounds. So, and this is an easy way to do it. You can download it from them. If you need to Google it, you can Google Newgrounds preloader, and it'll take you to the page where you can download it. But copy, go to my test comic B, and in here I will paste frames, and it pastes the instructions in there too. And I can delete the instructions from it. Remove frames, and now we just have the preloader. And the preloader, everything is all encased. It's like a button where everything is inside. When you double click on it, you can go inside of this element, this animation element, and inside of it, it has its own things. It has different buttons and things, different functions of its own. And it's a lot to take in, which is why I don't really want to get too deep into making preloaders beyond really just kind of cut and paste your own from this and sort of remake it into your own. But here, let's test it. And okay, so automatically it's going to go right into it, and it'll go right into the comic. And here, and then it goes back. So I'll show you the loading. There's a you can actually simulate in Flash. You can actually simulate what it would be like when someone downloads it. So you can go down to View, Simulate Download, and it'll show it slowly building up. Well, it's supposed to, but it's possible that oh, there it is. It's slow. Look at this. So you can see it slowly filling up as it's checking all the elements in the in each of these pages, each of these frames. It's checking all the different stop instances. It's checking all the different the buttons. It's checking to make sure that all the artwork is in there. It's checking each one and it's going forward with it. And then in the end, it'll fill up and it'll say play, and you can click that button and it'll take you right to page. It'll take you to the next page, and with this, it's assigned to go to the first page. With this one, let's see. It should go to the next. It should go to the. Go to play, start moving. Yeah, and it'll go to the page, the next page. So you can tell I know very little about how loaders really work. There's a lot of stuff in here I barely remember anymore. But so customizing it is a completely different deal. You can actually customize the Newgrounds preloader, and it's actually something that they recommend that you do. You can go in and you can switch out the artwork. All you have to do is let's see if I can do this competently. You can see if I can make something into it. I will. Oh no, hold on. So this is why it's a little bit more difficult if you're going to customize your preloader. You have to know what everything is. So this is the button. So I need to go in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to import to stage. I'm going to import just something. I don't know. I have stuff on the desktop. I'll have items on the desktop that I can import. I will import there a picture. There. Stupid little drawing of moi. And let me change the size. This is really tiny. I'll change the size there, and it'll be fuzzy. So if you're gonna switch out your elements, make sure that if you're gonna switch, customize your preloader. Make sure that you switch the elements. You make sure that you not switch the elements, but you make sure that your elements that are going to be in there are the right size, so you don't have to up-res like that. Because see, it's going to look terrible. But if I put in an image that was the same size as the one here, and in order to find out what size that is, you can go to info, and you can see the size here. It's 318.1 by 318.1. And you can switch the image, and you see, well, mine is a little bit bigger, but whatever. And I will take that, and I'm going to for this, I'm going to turn it into a guy layer, but you can also delete that. I think you can delete it without destroying it, but turn it into a guide layer. If you turn that into guide, then it essentially makes it invisible when it loads. And you just turn off that and go back. And you want to. I don't think I want to go as far as customizing some of the other stuff, like the actual loading bar, the loading. You can, well, yeah, I'll show you. So I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna change the font right quick, and hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to change the font, and I will make it blah blah blah. There. So it says blah blah blah. And I'll change the color to red. And you can customize it. You can customize everything about this thing. And it's my own little font, comic book font from Comic Craft. And I control B twice, breaks it apart. So modify, actually I'll do it by hand so that you can see it. Modify, so you select it, modify, make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're writing, you spell check it and make sure that it's spelled right. Then you go in, modify, control B, which is break apart, and it breaks it once. You go back in, control B a second time, break it apart a second time, and it flattens it out. It breaks the image and flattens it out. Basically what this does is it embeds the font. Because normally, if you're going to go in and you put your own font in, a custom font in, like if you download a font from somewhere, if it's not a font that's universal across computers, if it's not a standard, like a basic font that comes with a computer, with all computers, or if it's not a font that a person has, they're not going to see it. It's going to go to a default font that's on their computer and not the font that you intended it to be. So you have to break the actual text. You have to break it apart and then break it apart a second time. So you have to control B twice, break it apart twice, and it embeds that font. That way they can see the font that you intended and it won't default. So now it's embedded in there. And it says blah blah blah, and we'll lock that layer. Let me make my blah blah layer, and that's the loading underneath there. And I'll take that layer and I'll turn it into a guide layer, and now it's gone. And then I'll go over to the play, and I think I need to go inside of this to change it. Yeah. See, it has its own font inside. So what I have to do is, again, I'm going to go on top of this layer, and I need to create multiple versions just like this. So I'm going to create a insert blank keyframes for, I think, well, not all four of those layers, but for these first three, 1, 2, 3. And what this one is, see, that's the frame right here, and it lights up. Here it's dark, there it lights up, it highlights. So it's telling you, hey, click on this. And then these two are just the font with the shadow underneath. And so we don't need that. We'll keep that as a frame of reference, but we can guide layer that to make it invisible in the end. And and here I will put read me, like that. You know what? Let's all cap it. I like using this font. Normally, comics are done in all caps. I don't know why that is. It's just, I guess, a way. It's easier to read, I think. But I like doing mine in lowercase, just because it's different and it's easier to space them. And that's something I'll get into in the lettering section, in the lettering video, why I do the things that I do. And let's see, I will change the size, and I'll actually change the font. I'll just do a random font. No, something's blockier. I want something blockier. I have a bunch of fonts in here. There. I like this one. And we'll even make ours yellow to match that. And let's go ahead and turn that into a guide layer. It's turned off. And copy. Oh no. What we'll do is we're going to switch the color. So what the functionality of this button is, the up, over, down, and hit are the functions of a mouse. When you over is when you hover over the button. When you hover over it with your cursor, it changes. It lights up or does something, and that lets you know that this is an active element of this thing. In this case, it's the comic. It's the active element of the comic of this button. The over, no, I'm trying to remember if that's correct. I think the over might be when you're hovering over it. And then the down is when you click on it. The up is, I think that's just sort of the automatic default, what it goes to when it's ready. And then over is, I'm sorry, see this is what I'm saying. It's been a long time since I had to know what any of this was in class. And so what we're going to do is we're going to leave this as the default for when it's ready. It's going to go to yellow. When you hover over it, we're going to change that color to red. And when you click on it, we're going to change that color to a weird sort of light blue. There. So if we just to keep it simple, we're not going to put a drop shadow underneath it, which would just require another, just doing another, copying all three of these layers and just putting it on a layer underneath here and changing the color to a darker version of that. So we're going to break it apart a second time, do the same with this, break, and those should work. So we have blah, 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 and when it's ready, it'll say readme, and we should have a functioning, hold on, let's save right quick, and we should have a functioning preloader, customized preloader. I know that hopefully that wasn't too fast. Yeah, so it says readme, and see when you hover, the default, when it's ready, it goes to yellow. You hover over, it turns red. You click, it turns blue, and then we go right into the comic. And when we reach the end, goes back, and let's see what it does when it's a simulated download. And okay, so blah blah blah, and it's going to fill up. And in this case, because I'm recording, and this laptop is, it's a very cheap laptop. It's really struggling to do all of this at the same time, to run the simulation of it downloading as well as recording and and capturing the audio, and it's struggling. Normally, this would go a lot faster with, it's only a 10-page, it's like 10 pages. It's 11 frames in here. So it would normally go faster than this, but but you can still see, it's slowly building up, and it's just processing. And there are you can do different customizations. There are some that are a little bit more intricate, where you can, instead of this bar that scrolls up slowly, you can actually have numbers that count up. But that requires, a whole different set of things, and you're probably going to have to use a default font so that, it instead of a customized font. And I think that button activates the internet. Oh yeah, I think that's what they have there. Newgrounds, they're slick. They actually have it so that if you click on the image, then it'll go to the button. It's a button that goes to their website. So so somewhere in the background, the internet probably is loading. But that is pretty much it. And we can go in here and we'll turn this black so that our background is black. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything you need to know. I'll set aside the basic preloader from Newgrounds, and really just, you can follow their instructions, and then you can follow the steps that I did in here in order to customize. And just remember, all you need to do is make sure that your fonts are, you take your fonts and you break them accordingly. You break them, go to modify, break apart, and then you go in and break apart a second time, and it embeds your fonts and inside, once you're inside, and make sure that all your images are the right size. You make sure that they're a good size so that they don't look really awkward and fuzzy or jagged and terrible when you actually load it. And it's all self-contained. It's in its own container. It's within this. Like, you double click and all the elements are within here. And then you can double click on each of these parts, and you double click on that on the loader, and it's in there. And once it's in there, you can pretty much put this anywhere on here. You can have it up in the corner, you can have it down here, you can even have it upside down, and it'll load like that. It'll make it difficult, but you can do stuff like this. I'm curious actually what happens when you try to put it in upside down. Yeah, it's the same. But yeah, so that's a preloader, kind of a crash course in preloaders. I'm sure there are more deeper, more involved video tutorials out there, possibly even on Newgrounds, where I originally encountered this particular version of a preloader. The preloaders that we did in school were a little bit different and involved the counter, the percentage counter, where the numbers go up, and they're a little bit more involved, and I didn't like them. And I found Newgrounds, and I went and I found this version on my own, and used it for Goblin and Munch Chunky, and every other comic that I've done since then has been done this way, using the Newgrounds model. And I like that model. So if that was in any way understandable to you, definitely I'll even leave links. I'll leave links to both the page on Newgrounds, where you can download the zip pack that has the actionscript 2 version and the actionscript 3 version of the preloader, and it has there are other preloaders too. There are animated ones and all sorts of stuff. As far as you can take it, it can go. I've done a lot of weird stuff with preloaders. I've had different animated preloaders of different types, but I like the basic one, where it's just an image and a bar that's loading. So yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry if that was a little rushed. Sorry about the video quality and possibly the audio quality. But hopefully that was helpful. And hopefully I will see you on the next videos. So thanks for watching, and bye. Okay, this is an addendum. I'm gonna just add this to the end of the video. I feel that I should actually mention this, because it happened. It did load in the background. There is a button if you're going to use the Newgrounds basic preloader. There is a button, even though you're switching out this piece of the Newgrounds artwork for your own artwork. There is a where is it? There is a button that's actually here. Their image is an actual button, and it will take you to the website, their website, if you click on it. So what you're actually going to have to do is you're going to have to disable it, which means you're going to have to go in to the button. See, so you're going to double click the button image, and it's going to take you here. And you can see in the action script, there's the function the ActionScript function for the button, which is on release, a lot like it is to get your pages to go. But instead of go to and stop, go to and play, it says get URL, which is a way of telling it, hey, go out there and go to this place. It summons that, it brings up that page. And so in here it has the URL. And if you want, you can just highlight that, and you can take it out. You sort of highlight the actual website and just take it out. And now that it disables that button. Or you can just kind of put your own in there. Like I'll just, I'll do, I don't know, goblincomic.com. And now when I click on that button, it'll take me to goblincomic.com. So really, that's all you have to do in order to disable that. Unless you want people to, go to Newgrounds. But if you want them to go to your site or your page or any place that you want to direct them, then you can just go in and change that. Or if you want to just disable it completely and just have a plain image there, then that's how you can do it. Normally I disable it completely and just have an image. But yeah. So there you go. Thanks. Bye.